Hey guys, okay, this video is to help you with assignment 2.5, computations with trig functions. So I'm just going to go through some examples. You might want to either write these at the bottom of that page or just on a separate sheet of paper for some notes. You're not using your calculator on this, and you need to work the problems on a separate sheet of paper so you have plenty of room. If you write small enough, you could probably do it at the bottom, but to be safe, why don't you do it on a separate sheet of paper? So these are just some notes. For assignment 2.5. Okay? All right. So the first thing you need to know is that when you see this symbol, which is a theta, it means we're talking about the angle. Okay, we're still going to be using your unit circle, so you might want to get out your unit circle. I have it here so that I can refer to it. But, okay, and so let's do the first example. So you're going to be given what theta is. So if I'm given that theta is, let's say, 7 pi over 4, then it's going to give you a bunch of problems that you have to solve for when theta is 7 pi over 4. So let's do one example. So let's say I ask you, what is the cosine of theta? Well, we know theta is this right here for this particular example. Maybe the problem that I'm going to give you is maybe theta will be 5 pi over 3 or 4 pi over 3. It could be anything on the unit circle because we're not using the calculator. So if I ask you cosine of theta, that means in this problem, I'm asking you for the cosine of 7 pi over 4. So then we go to our unit circle, and we find 7 pi over 4 right here. And at 7 pi over 4, what is the cosine? Hopefully by now we know it's the first one in the parentheses. So I go back here, and so my answer here is the square root of 2 over 2. Okay? Another question that might be asked might look like this. What is cosine of 2 theta? Okay? Well, again, all this has to do with when theta is 7 pi over 4. So I'm going to go, okay, well, cosine of 2 times 7 pi over 4, because that's my theta. Okay, and I'm going to actually work this out. What is 2 times 7 pi over 4? Well, that becomes the cosine of 14 pi over 4, which you did some practice reducing. I'm going to reduce that right there, 14 over 4. So I'm going to come down here because of space. And so I end up with the cosine of 7 pi over 2. So then I go to my unit circle, and now I'm looking for 7 pi over 2. Remember we talked about having the same denominator, so I have to go around the unit circle. I know this is 1 pi over 2. I'm going to go this direction. This would be 2 pi over 2, which simplifies to pi. This would be, I'm going to keep going around, 3 pi over 2. So this would be 4 pi over 2. This would be 5 pi over 2, 6 pi over 2, and so I'm back here to be 7 pi over 2. Well, 7 pi over 2 is in the same place as 3 pi over 2, so I'm looking for what is the cosine at that point. So the cosine is 0. Voila. Easy peasy. Okay, so next, another example would be, let's say I gave you, what's the cosine of theta plus pi over 2? This is why we did all that review stuff last time. So again, my theta is still 7 pi over 4. So that's my theta plus pi over 2. Well, now I have to do common denominator. So I'm going to travel up here. Okay, so I have to find the common denominator of 7 pi over 4 and pi over 2. So I need 4, so I'm going to have to multiply this one by 2 over 2. So I end up with 2 pi over 4. Okay, so then I just add at the top. So now I'm at 9 pi over 4. So I simplified all of this to be 9 pi over 4. So now what I'm looking for on the unit circle is the cosine of 9 pi over 4. So I go to my unit circle and I try to find 9 pi over 4, but I see it's not on here. But I do know right here is 7 pi over 4. Okay, if I'm doing pi over 4s, I'm going every 45 degrees, right? So if this is 7 pi over 4, I'm going to go another pi over 4, which would be 8 pi over 4. And I'll go one more right here. This would be 9 pi over 4. Okay, so 9 pi over 4, what am I looking for? Cosine of 9 pi over 4? Square root of 2 over 2. So I go back. This would be square root of 2 over 2. Okay, that should help you with pretty much the first part of that assignment, 1 through 3. I'm going to do just a couple more examples. I'm going to flip some pages here. Okay, I paused it to erase so you didn't have to watch that. Okay, so now I'm going to do another example. I'm going to do example 2. And this is why we did that function review that you checked when you came in this morning. If I give you an equation like this, cosine pi over 6 times t minus 2, okay? And then I tell you, I want you to find when basically t is 12, I have f of 12. So I'm going to take, if f of t, this means t equals 12. So I'm going to go over here, I'm going to put a 12 in for that t. And then I'm going to simplify. Easy as that. So this becomes 10 times the cosine of pi over 6 times 10, right? Because 12 minus 2 is 10. So then I need to simplify this right here. So this 10 times pi over 6 becomes, what is the cosine of 10 pi over 6? Well, this I can reduce right here. So this becomes 10 cosine of 5 pi over 3. Now I should recognize this as being on the unit circle. And then whatever that is, I multiply by 10. So it's 10 times, let's go to 5 pi, what was it? 5 pi over 3? Yeah. 5 pi over 3 is right here. And I am still looking for the cosine. That is 1/2. Whoops, sorry. So then this is 1/2. So I do 10 times 1/2, which is 5. That is my answer. Okay? I think that should get you through almost everything. Oh, one more thing. Let's do one more example. Okay. When you have squared, let's say I have f of theta equals the sine squared of theta minus the cosine squared of theta. Notice how this is written. These squareds go right by the sine. It's always a little bit confusing. Okay, what we're going to do here is you're going to find f of 3 pi over 4. Okay, so now my theta, this means theta equals 3 pi over 4, which means the angle is 3 pi over 4. So this is how we set it up. We're going to do the sine of 3 pi over 4, and then we're going to square it. And then we're going to do the cosine of 3 pi over 4. And then we are going to square it. That's probably the hardest part, is we're going to find this first, and then we're going to square it. We're going to find this first, and then we're going to square it. Okay? So we go back to our unit circle. This time we're looking for 3 pi over 4, and we're going to find the sine and the cosine. So we go to, let's switch colors, 3 pi over 4. And we're going to find the cosine and the sine. Cosine and sine. Negative square root of 2 over 2 and square root of 2 over 2. Okay? So the cosine is negative square root of 2 over 2. Okay? And the sine was square root of 2 over 2. And then I'm going to take these and now I'm going to square them. So I'm going to square it, I'm going to square it, and I'm going to subtract them. Okay, so we reviewed this as well last time. You have to square the top and you have to square the bottom. Square the top, square the bottom. When I square the top, I end up with 2. When I square the bottom, I end up with 4. Same thing over here. When I square a negative, I'm going to get a positive. So I'm going to end up with a positive 2, and I'm going to end up with a 4. I could simplify that to 1/2, but then I also see I'm just subtracting the same thing, so I end up with 0. Okay, that's it. Give 1 through 11 a shot.